Press and Mary, good evening. Frantic and frightening. That is how neighbors describe this fire. And unfortunately, we have learned that 2 homes were damaged. Embers were blowing off of this fire, some of them landing on people's roofs. And we've also been told that it could be a while until investigators can get back in here and go through the rubble off West Marine View Drive to figure out what caused this. From the sky, towering flames shooting up from an apartment building under construction near the port of Everett. A 4-alarm fire burning with incredible intensity. The winds carrying embers, sparking smaller brush fires creeping towards homes. Those who live nearby grabbing hoses, spraying down their places to keep them safe.
We're all a very small-knit community. All my friends live on this hill.
We just watched as the fire grew, and it was scary and a little overwhelming to see the flames were shooting up above the roof lines of the houses here.
Mary Mara feared the worst as firefighters worked to get things under control.
My mom lives with us, and she's not very mobile, and so it's scary to think about having to get her out if the house were to catch on fire.
And just down the street, Mason Rutledge was doing what he could.
This bush was on fire, our carport was on fire. There was a fire up in the eave in a gutter, but I think we got everything soaking wet now. There were giant embers coming down. I mean, one I just took down, it was about the size of a basketball. I can't believe how big they were.
Preston, the crooks were after Bitcoin. The damage was pretty minimal, but posing as influential people to dupe their social media followers, that could have far more sinister outcomes down the road. A message started making its way across Twitter soliciting donations that could then be doubled as part of COVID relief, but it was part of a Bitcoin scam. The hacked accounts included Jeff Bezos, Bill Gates, Elon Musk, and others. Before Twitter shut it down, the unidentified crooks netted about $118,000 in cryptocurrency.
This was absolutely a dumb move, and here's why. The financial take from this is nearly insignificant.
Cybersecurity expert Mike Hamilton says what is significant is the potential of using high-profile accounts to influence followers into a course of action.
It could have been weaponized in a much, much more effective way if my, preferred outcome was to, affect an election.
Twitter called it a social engineering attack by people who successfully targeted some of our employees with access to internal systems and tools, and goes on to say, we've taken significant steps to limit access to internal systems and tools while our investigation is ongoing.
How did these guys come by this tool? Why would somebody pull the trigger like this to make such a pathetic amount of money? Is that really a statement somebody's sending? Is this a foreshadowing of tactics? We don't know, but I just think the noise level is going to go way up.
Yeah, Molly, right now health officials say that is a big concern. And one of the challenges in this pandemic has been large gatherings, especially on this gorgeous night out here in Cary Park, where you see, quite a few people still out here. Now, all throughout the day, we saw a lot of people following the rules of social distancing, having their masks, and a lot of people who just didn't care.
On a beautiful summer evening on the Kirkland waterfront.
I'm young, I'm reckless, I'm gonna do what I want.
These are the kind of large gatherings that have our top health officials concerned as COVID-19 cases driven by young people skyrocket. Jay Deshawn elaborates on why he's hanging out in a big group.
I haven't had the coronavirus yet. I haven't had any friends that have had the coronavirus. I've heard about it, but at the end of the day, look, I would not like to waste my summer sitting inside my house doing nothing. I would rather catch the coronavirus, be good.
But 21-year-old Matthew Bell, who lives nearby, says that type of thinking and behavior worries him.
Until someone you know or close to you dies, it is real, and it's killed a lot of people.
He's one of many people we saw practicing social distancing and wearing a mask.
I have a dad with a disability, so I can't afford to get sick, and it's really not respectful to people that are older who have disabilities.
That's the situation we're looking as an incoming tide, in my view.
Today, Governor Jay Inslee said he's pausing reopening phases until the end of the month. He did not rule out rolling back on some of those phases to get a handle on the outbreak.
And that's going to be influenced by how many people wear masks and how many people decide to socially distance.
If we go back into clothes like stage 1, whatever, I'm still gonna go out.
There is too much COVID-19 transmission in our community to support school reopening.
As school districts across the region consider ways of bringing students back to the classroom, health experts point to COVID cases tripling in King County since mid-June.
In order for our kids to return to school as safely as possible, everyone in Washington needs to limit the number of people they're gathering with, and that includes in your professional life as well as your social life.
King County's health officer says we need to shift our behaviors moving forward during this COVID era.
We need to fundamentally do something differently if we're going to turn this around and make it safe to open schools.
The report released by Bellevue-based IDM says that by taking no precautions in reopening schools, COVID rates could double in just 3 months. But by using countermeasures like masks, physical distance, student groups, mandatory health screening and testing could reduce rates of infections to levels that will decrease spread of the virus.
It's basically a win-win, and I say that because you get fewer new infections, and at the same time, you get fewer in-school days lost.
Districts across the region are considering multiple models for the fall.
I think that it's really critically important that we think about the safety and health of our students and our staff and the families they go home to.
Public health experts say case numbers in the coming weeks will be critical in determining how students will learn this fall.
And DOH says the best way we can help kids get back to class is to wear a mask, social distance, telecommute for work if we can do it, and limit our interactions. In Seattle tonight, I'm Kara Kostanich, KOMO News.